Let me put my list up here. All right. Let's see what my order is and who I've omitted from the list.
I don't even see Kobe. Oh my! The audacity!
I knew you were searching for him probably first.
I was searching and searching. I don't even see him.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna explain why he's not on my list. Okay. Okay. We agree with Michael Jordan, greatest player of all time. Okay, I'm gonna tell you first why I put these people into place. Okay, kind of same thing with you. Impact is a big thing. Cultural impact, what they did to the game, how rules were changed around them, winning. Of course, that counts. It's not just about championships. Also, the weight of how they won the championships. I'll put that in there. And what I mean by that is, were they just tag-alongs or were they the main reason they won the championship? All right. MVPs, awards, defense and offense, how they played. Were they great two-way players? How good were they as a one-way player or whatever? It's probably about it for me, but I probably got someone else where I grade how they're on the list. But mainly that's it. How the NBA was impacted by their time there, how many championships, how they won, the weight of the championship they won, MVP awards, all those type things. And Michael Jordan, great, probably the greatest two-way player of all time. Man did it on both ends, defense and offense. He played just as great defense as he played offense. And when it comes to offense, I don't think you can get any better than Michael Jordan. And for a shooting guard playing defense, I don't know if you can get any better. The man won the Defensive Player of the Year award and the MVP in the same year. For a while, he was the all-time leader in blocks for a shooting guard. I think Dwayne Wade passed him. I don't know if it's regular season or playoffs and regular season combined. I think Michael Jordan still leads one of those categories combined for blocks for a shooting guard. But course scoring, man scored like 30 points almost every season. He has the highest scoring points per game average, 30 points per game of any player in history, including Wilt, who averaged 50 points in a game at one point. He bears all the weight of every championship he's won. He's won 6 championships, no losses in the finals, MVP of all those championships, and there's no question that they belong to him. He holds the weight for all that, and he holds the weight for every season he played with the Bulls. He was the best player of all, and there was no question about it. Let alone the best player in the league, of course, but he definitely was the best player on the team. Also, that's another thing I'll play into that too. Not just how much weight was on the championship, how much weight was placed on him as the man of the team. Pippen, Pippen's a great player, but he didn't hold the same weight, I would say, that Kareem and Magic had. Kareem and Magic, respectfully, were great players. I wouldn't put Pippen as a great player. I put him as a very good player, but not a great player. Pippen had his chance in 94, and he fell through. He couldn't handle it. Threw a tantrum, threw a couple chairs and stuff like that. And he sat down in the last second of a game because he didn't get the ball, whatever, and he couldn't handle it. And he didn't show up. Game 7 or game 6 where the Knicks put him out in the second round. I'm sick of people keep saying, oh, they got put out in the Eastern Conference Finals when Jordan was gone. It was the second round he got put out the Eastern Conference Finals. He couldn't handle it. He couldn't score good enough. He did everything else. He was a good all-around player, but he didn't have enough. And the Knicks ended up beating them, going to the finals and losing to Houston. So Michael Jordan, number one, it's hard to even say anyone even comes close to his stratosphere. I mean, how can you say something when man is perfect at the finals? Yes, I know he had other years he played and he didn't win, but in the ultimate round of the playoffs of an NBA season, you go to win it all. You don't go to become second place and first place or whatever. And I'll also say this. and this is going to probably hurt LeBron James in the future unless he wins, a couple more chips, this year or later in his career. The longer you play and you don't win more championships, the worse it looks for you. If you play 30 years and you only won 4 championships versus you only played 15 years and you won 6, that looks bad. I mean, do the percentages on that, and that doesn't look good. It's like you had all this time to catch up with Mike and you couldn't get 5, 6 championships or whatever. You couldn't get 11 with Bill Russell. That just looks bad.
Yep.
But, okay. So I'll go to my next pick. So you had Kobe, number 2. I got LeBron at number 2. I'm not a big LeBron fan. I respect the man. Man is Magic Johnson on steroids, and maybe he actually does steroids. I don't know for sure. Or maybe he's just that big and he's just got a great chef, fix him some good old chicken and rice, some gumbo, and gets him ready for every game. But LeBron James is a great passer. He's a good scorer. He's not a scorer first, but it's not like he passes way more than, just to define people like Magic Johnson did. He scores too. He just happens to be a pass first player. He rebounds great. He's a great all-around player, probably the greatest all-around player he's probably ever lived. Not the greatest player of all time. But what year is he in? 20 now?
Yep.
Year 20, and he's got 4 championships. He's had stacked team after stacked team after stacked team. He's had heavily weighted teams to be able to win more than 4. And let's see, what is his record in the finals? 4 and what? Is it 4 and 6? I think it's 4 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great accomplishment. Yeah, he went to 10 finals, but no one goes to college to drop out at the exam. You got to pass the exam to get the degree. And I don't care if you went to 10 finals, you got to win. I don't want to hear about the teams with stacked, the Warriors were stacked. I'm like, he had stacked teams too. He had Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love. He had Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh.
Anderson Varejao.
Yeah, he's had. Well, I don't know about Anderson Varejao. I know he went to an All-Star game, but yeah, he was a tag along. I won't put him on that list. But he's had stacked teams. He's had the big 3 for him or whatever. He just didn't get it done. And 4 people will say, well, the Warriors had more. Do you remember when the Heat played the Dallas Mavericks? And Nowitzki was the only All-Star on that team. And Nowitzki beat them in the finals. So I don't want to hear anything about, they got a stacked team, and that's why the Warriors want. No, he found a way to win. And he beat Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James just with Dirk Nowitzki. I don't want to hear Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd was no longer an All-Star. He was no longer in his prime. I don't want to hear Jason Terry was never an All-Star. He was a great 6th man. And he did the jet flying across the court when he hit a shot or whatever. I don't want to hear that. No. You're not going to use that against me and say, the Warriors had a stacked team. The Spurs had a stacked team. No. Find a way to get it done. You lost. Okay. So Kareem was the all-time leading scorer until this year. LeBron James passed him. And that's, I will give LeBron James that too, being number 2. That is a great accomplishment to be the all-time leading scorer. It's a longevity award. I got to give him props for being able to last as long. Oh, that was the other thing. What I was going to say too was eras. I was going to say, how easy was your era or how hard was your era also played a factor in where I put you on this list. And LeBron, he's done enough for me to put him number 2, but he is in an easier era than the 90s and 80s and before when it comes to scoring. And he doesn't get the beat down that those players used to get. So maybe their careers wouldn't be as long. Of course, nutrition and exercise is different, but you got pounded for 82 games. It can take a lot out of you and take years off of you. So you can't have a long career as everyone else. So that can play a part in it. But again, he's in great shape. and he played the games that were put forth to him. So hats off to him. But Kareem had a long career too. He had a 20-year career. I think he was like a 18 or 19-year All-Star. Of course, he had the record. He had one of the most unstoppable moves of all time, the sky hook. Michael Jordan had the fadeaway. LeBron James has the flop. And Kareem had the sky hook. No one could stop it, and it seems like no one ever could emulate it. He won 5 championships, 6 MVPs, regular season MVPs. So he got one over Jordan when it comes to that. Let's see, won one with the Milwaukee Bucks. But here, why I'll put LeBron James over Kareem when it comes to weight. He won 5 championships, but he was not the leader on all those championships. He was kind of a secondary player. Magic won MVP with his the first championship with the Lakers as a rookie. As a rookie, I think Kareem won one after that. He was the main person that helped win the finals on that one. Magic won another one, I think, versus the Celtics. Might have been 85 or 86. James Worthy won another one. Won a finals MVP, I think, versus the Pistons. I'm missing one somewhere. But Kareem wasn't the bus driver, if you will, of all the finals. He deferred to Magic. He deferred to James Worthy. James Worthy was brilliant in that, I think, 88 finals. In Game 7, I think he had like 42 points. He went off versus the Pistons. That's the same year. Isaiah Thomas twisted his ankle and kept playing. Great game. So his weight on all the finals is not the same as I would give the weight for LeBron James. LeBron James has been the best player of all his finals that he did win, even some he lost. Michael Jordan has been great on all of them. None of he lost. Okay. Magic Johnson, very impactful player. He changed the culture when it comes to prototypes for point guards, tall point guards, 6'9", never seen nothing like it before. Never. Matter of fact, you don't really see, LeBron James. Yes, LeBron James is a better version of that. Magic would have been higher on the list probably if, he was better than LeBron James when it comes to offense and defense. Magic, to me, is the best passer of all time. Still, I think holds the highest average, I think, for pass per game. It might be John Stockton. I could be wrong on that, but
no, it's Magic. I'm getting it confused with assists. I know that's Stockton.
Oh yeah. Assist all the time. Yeah, John Stockton got that, but Magic, unfortunately, he had to stop in 1992. See, his career was cut short. That's another thing people forget. His career was cut very short. He was still in the prime of his career. He won the MVP, I think, 1990. Jordan won the next year. Magic was number 2 in MVP voting. But he went to the finals in 91, fell short to Jordan. Magic faced, that's another thing, competition. Magic faced a lot of competition. The Western Conference wasn't the greatest competition, but he played who was in front of him. He played some great Eastern Conference teams in the finals, the Sixers and the Celtics, of course. He won 3 regular season MVPs. He won 5 championships. I think he won 2 or 3 final MVPs. That one I'll have to check for sure. But for the most part, I guess I would say of the Kareem Magic era, I want to say, even though Kareem was known as the captain, I think Magic led those teams. Kareem's voice might have stood out more than anything. Maybe he was the locker room leader, but Magic was, the conductor of those teams.
Well, Magic was younger too at that point. So yeah, I want to say he was leading the team as far as stats. Like you said, Kareem was the voice of the team.
So that's why I have him at number 4. Okay, and he's generally regarded as the greatest point guard ever. And he could score when he needed to. That was the other thing. He could very much score when he needed to, and he brought the popularity of the NBA to heights it had never seen before. Because before that, the finals used to be on tape delay. It wasn't live, but it wasn't until Magic and then, of course, Larry helped bring popularity to the league that people really started having a high interest in watching the NBA. Mm. You know, it became exciting. You know, every game was exciting watching Magic play. He was box office TV. He was must-see TV. Next, I'll put Wilt Chamberlain. Normally, I see people have Bill Russell above Wilt Chamberlain, and I understand why. But due to my metrics, I can't put him above him because Bill Russell was a great player, but was he a greater player than Wilt Chamberlain? He didn't score more than Wilt Chamberlain. He didn't rebound more than Wilt Chamberlain. He didn't block. He may have blocked more than Wilt Chamberlain. I'm not sure on that, but they were about the same when it came to defense is concerned. Wilt Chamberlain definitely had more impact. You know why? Because every time you watch a game, you hear someone breaking a record. Let's say Harden broke some record, like, oh, he scored this much points in the fourth quarter. And the only person that's done that since today was Wilt Chamberlain. You always hear his name mentioned in any kind of record that's brought up. He scored, 30 points per game in 8 straight games. You're like, and the only person that's done that last was Wilt Chamberlain. You always hear Wilt Chamberlain connected to these records. I'm gonna tell you a little tidbit because you said Shaq was a good passer, but Wilt Chamberlain led the league in assists one year.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, he led the league in assists one year because he was trying to change his game up because people were criticizing him for being too big of a scorer. So he's like, well, okay, I'll change my game up to help the team out so we can win a championship. And the only thing I think that hurts Wilt Chamberlain so much now is because Russell won 11 championships and Wilt only won 2. He won one with the Sixers and he won one with the Lakers. I'm like, if you're that dominant, that you should win more. And it's kind of hurt my case because he was James Harden back then. Because a lot of times his regular season stats didn't match his playoff stats. And he would some people say he would choke or he would just give up in the playoffs or at least the finals versus Russell. But still, as a player, skill-wise, that's the only reason I would say I would put Wilt above Russell. Russell had a lot of championships, but he had a great team around him. And he didn't bear the weight that Wilt had to play. It was Wilt versus everybody else until he got, to the Lakers and he got John Goodrich and Jerry West and a couple other players. But skill-wise, Wilt was better than Bill Russell by far. And Bill had a lot of help to try to slow down Wilt. Record-wise, Wilt had them all. He was, I think he's top. Well, he was the number one scorer at one point. Of course, he got passed. He didn't have a longest career as everyone else. The rebound numbers are just out of this world. They'll never get broken. He scored 100 points in a game. Let's not forget that. My screen cut off. My screen keeps cutting off. Okay, scored 100 points in the game, and let's not forget.
Without threes.
Without what? Oh, without threes. That's another thing. Without threes, and he had a season, the same season he scored 100 points, a 50-point per game season. I know people want to keep saying, "Oh, well, he didn't play against. He played against plumbers and bank tellers and police officers and stuff." But the thing is, and they also say, the people were short back then, but the height is pretty much the same now as it was back then. So that's a misconception that people have. You go check out the height that was around in his era, the height's pretty much the same then as it is now. So they weren't like 6'2" guarding him and stuff like that. So there were only a few teams back then. So if you want to say that, fine. But it wasn't because the players were just terrible or whatever. So he's a legend. Okay. So Number 5. Okay, so number 6, Larry Bird. Larry Bird, man, 3 MVPs in a row in the regular season. 3 championships. I think he has 2 finals MVPs. I know Cedric Maxwell won one of them. He broke the mold when it comes to outside shooting, 3-point shooting. He broke the mold for that. Some people regard him as one of the greatest shooters of all time. And when threes weren't a thing like they are today, you didn't want to leave him wide open. His mid game was great. His 3-point game was great. He had skills shooting on the inside, the post up. The man could do that. And he was a great passer, underrated passer. And he was Magic Johnson's Darth Vader, I guess. He was the person on the other side that Magic was looking at and seeing, what did he do last night? Are we going to be meeting up in the finals? Are we going to be playing against each other? Because I hate that dude. And that's how the rivalry started. The rivalry started in college, and the ratings started in college, and it transferred over to the NBA. So he had a great impact to bring popularity to the NBA based off of the rivalry that started in college. And here's another thing I like to put in there too. And I like these type of players. The type of players that don't have athleticism, but their skills overwhelm their opponents. I like players like that, and which is why I like Larry Bird. Larry Bird couldn't jump over a stick of butter. And Dominique Wilkins could jump over a house, but he could not guard him for nothing. He would eat Dominique up. And I hate, people today was like, look at these players from yesterday. Like they were unathletic. They couldn't move their feet. They couldn't jump over nothing. But Nikola Jokic can't either. Luka Doncic can't either. And they're dominating the NBA. Luka Doncic could be an MVP. Maybe he needs to actually work out a little bit. But Jokic was MVP the last 2 seasons and could have won it this year. Has no athleticism whatsoever, but he's killing it out here. And people say, well, Larry Bird couldn't play today. Yeah, he could. He killed today, especially where they shoot 3-pointers today.
Yes.
How open the lane is. Kill it.